I have an exciting video today. Today we are going to be talking about one of the most sought after and one of the most expensive grinders in the home coffee market. This is the Weber Workshop's EG-1. This is an 80mm flat burr grinder. The silver color of this comes in at $4,095. To get it in this black or onyx color, you have to shell out $4,495. That is not an easy pill to swallow. Today we're going to be going over all the features of this, and I'm going to be giving you my initial impression of this and whether or not I think you should spend the money on it. There will be an even more in-depth review coming out a little down the road where I compare the other burr set with this one as well as a few other things. So I've used a lot of grinders in the home coffee world. I've had most of the Turin grinders, so the DF64, the DF83, the DF64V. I have an Eureka Atom 75, I've used a Malkonig K30, I've used Baratza, I've used Breville, I've used a lot of different brands. I've used a Niche Zero, and this is by far blows all of them out of the water when it comes to price. It also blows all of them out of the water when it comes to the weight and the size of this thing, as this thing is no joke when it is sitting on your coffee bar in your kitchen. You're probably going to need a coffee bar with how much space this takes up. So I want to go over a couple of the features. This is the version 2 model. They are currently on a version 3. A couple of the differences on the version 3 is this oak platform, so I've already did that and upgraded toward that. The bolts on the side of it on this one are kind of a silver color. They would be a black color on the version 2. The version 2 has a purge button and a magnetic plate on the side. Other than that, I believe it is the same coffee grinder. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. So I want to start off by going over all of the features on this thing. Starting off by, this thing is built by Douglas Weber. He's the founder of Weber Workshops, and he is also known for working on the team that worked on one of the original iPods, or one of the early modeled iPods. So when you think of the build quality of like an old iPod, that translates super well into this. It's finished super well, it's built super well, and it feels really nice to use. This thing is covered with magnets everywhere. So on your dosing funnel here on the top, this is magnetically sat in place, and there is a step adjustment ring that you simply just lift up and twist. This goes by 5 microns, which makes it really easy to adjust. We'll go more in depth on that. Right over here is where you get into your burrs, and you can pull off, these magnets are super strong, but you can pull off this little burr carrier set here, or outside set here, and that gives you easy access to clean your burr set, and it can easily snap back into place like so. It's got a little knocker here on the back of it to help loosen up any grounds that are on the inside. It's got this magnetic oak platform that you can self-adjust by clicking this button here and sliding up and down. It comes with the Weber Workshops blind tumbler, so you simply just push that in there via magnet and it will slide right in the center, and then you have your shaker for the lid. You got your power button here. You have adjustable RPM on right here, and this also acts as a purge button, which I'll explain a little bit. You flip that thing on, wait for a second, and there you have it. That is how you run this grinder. Before we dive into the performance and running some beans in this, I want to talk to you about today's sponsor. This video was brought to you by Klatch Coffee. Klatch Coffee has been around for 30 years, and just recently on October 1st for International Coffee Day, they released their new blend of Empire. Empire is known and gives homage to their homeland in the southern region of California called the Inland Empire region. So this was named after this, and after decades of operation and experience, to celebrate International Coffee Day and to celebrate the opening of their new roaster, they released this blend, and I gotta tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not typically somebody who drinks a medium roasted coffee. This has blown me out of the water on flavor and taste, and this is something I'd highly recommend you to pick up. It's a great way to support a great company, but it's also a great way to support this YouTube channel. Everybody watching this probably drinks coffee, or at least you're really interested in coffee equipment. So go pick up a bag, give it a shot. And I want to say a quick thank you to Klatch Coffee for sponsoring this video. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So one of the things about this is the stepped adjustments. And when you hear stepped adjustments on a grinder, that is something often people go away from it because it is known to not give you enough dial room for dialing in espresso. However, this one is 5 microns, which is very small. So when you think about it, if you just adjust a stepless grinder, oftentimes you will probably most likely move it more than 5 microns. So this is incredibly precise. It is super easy to adjust by simply just spinning this top part, dropping it into the pins, and you can easily know where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this on, and you can see how easy it is to adjust. Occasionally it helps to run it a little bit just to make it adjust a little easier. But once you get it in there, it locks it to exactly what you want. So I want to go ahead and dive into an espresso style setting. And what you're going to do with this grinder and what they recommend is they recommend always hot starting the grinder, which means you turn on the grinder, let it get up to the RPM you want. So currently I run this about 1,000 RPM for espresso. You're going to take your coffee and you're going to slow pour it in the top here. And then once you have it up there, you use that little knocker, and then you have a nice dose of coffee, shake it, and you're good to go. So one of the things that I love about this grinder is how easy it is to duplicate things. When I heard step grinder at first, I thought this was a con and something that was kind of strange to have on such an expensive grinder when things like the Niche Zero and the DF64 don't have that and they are stepless. However, when it comes to using this for multiple different things, my wife drinks decaf, so that is a different setting than what I use for espresso. I often change beans from different roasters, and I've been exploring a lot of different things like that. I've also been using something like the fellow Aiden that has recently released and have needed to adjust it for pour over. And one of the nice things about it is it's incredibly easy to go back day by day and adjust the setting. So right now I just did an espresso setting, so all I need to do is jump up and turn this over to, and again it helps when you turn this on, you turn that over to setting 9 is typically what I like for the recipe that I have on my Aiden. You throw it in there, and then you are at your setting for a pour over. And now you just jump back, leave that thing on, and now you're back at your espresso setting, perfectly dialed in. And one of the things I love about this is there's really not much retention on the inside. If you really want to get in depth about it, just pop this off, give it a little swipe with a brush, and you got it pretty well cleaned. You can easily jump back and forth, and every single time I jump back to the espresso setting, it comes out with a perfect shot just where I had it dialed in the last time, and then I go back to a pour over, and it will do the same thing and have it dialed in exactly where I want, which is one of the things that I find incredibly useful about this grinder. It is really truly one of those one-stop, one-and-done grinders. I've had absolutely zero problems dialing it in back and forth from grinders. I never thought how much I would love that stepped adjustment, but it works out pretty well. A few of the things that I'm not a fan of. Personally, I don't like the workflow of using a blind shaker. I know I'm not the only person that does that, but I also know that I'm well aware a lot of people absolutely love the blind shaker and try to fit that in your workflow. One of the things I don't like about it is I just don't simply like the time that it shakes. I really like that grinding straight into a portafilter, tamping and then pulling the shot. It goes a lot quicker, it's a lot less fuss. However, I do find the blind shaker incredibly useful for the fact that it is easy to go between espresso and pour over. This fits directly on my 58mm portafilter, and it flows directly easy into a pour over device, allowing you to get right in the center of the cone every single time. So I'm really not super upset about it. I think it is one of the better things, and I do have forks for this thing so I can put in a portafilter, but I honestly don't think I'll use it because I do go back and forth enough that this does make it the easiest in my opinion. When it comes to adjusting the RPM, honestly, I don't mess around with that too much. I'm still tweaking around with other things in the espresso world, but it is nice to have that there. It is pretty easy to get exactly what you want, and it does get up all the way to 2,000 RPM and then down to 500. I actually do use the 500 for espresso, for pour over style settings, not espresso style settings. And it is pretty nice. One of the nice things about the newer version is it has a purge button, so it'll actually spin the like ramp up the RPM to spin it out to get any extra excess stuff in there. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's probably worth upgrading from this grinder currently. If you already had one of these, I don't think it's worthwhile to go up and spend more money replacing this. When it comes to getting it in the onyx color, that is kind of a wash how you do have to spend extra $500 because of production cost for this, but it is what it is. Overall, would I recommend it? And do I think it's worth its price tag? I didn't know if I would actually say this or not, but honestly, I think it was. I think it is that much better. I knew that there's diminishing returns on anything that you buy. Like if you bought a $50 grinder and you spend $75 and you spend $200 and $400 and $500, and I really thought like after the DF64 at $400, it's kind of diminishing returns. I find myself getting better results out of the DF64V with a different burst set. I found myself getting even better results with the Eureka Atom 75, and that goes from the price point of $400 all the way up to $1,500 and everywhere in between. And I found marginally better upgrades when it comes to quality and taste after that, but not enough that I would recommend spending $1,500 on something like an Atom 75 over a DF64. I found the DF64 personally to be one of those like kind of best value for monies for it, but I also found jumping up all the way up to this is it blew my mind with the different notes and the difference in the quality of coffee that I get from this. I know now that when I brew coffee with this thing, once I get it dialed in, it's going to be truly to the best of that ability of that coffee. Like I'm really not leaving anything else on the table with this grinder and with the quality of shots that I'm getting out of it. I was amazed at all the small nuances and how easily the burst set on this separated all of those things. Using this every single day has been a joy. I think one of the nice things about this and one of the hardest things about coffee in general is there's often the question of how good would this be? Or is it actually worth the money? Or is this something I should get better in? And once you get to the Weber Workshop EG-1, there's nowhere to go. There's side steps. There's the Optional Lagome 01, I think is what it is now, or the P100. So there's side steps to this that are cheaper, but there's nothing really above it to my knowledge at this time. And every single time you get this dialed in, you get consistent results time and time and time again. You don't have to ever worry about this drifting because you know as soon as it's locked into the pins, it is working super well. One of the things that I don't know about this is I don't know what customer service is like on this. I did purchase this used, fair disclosure on that. However, I did have the money saved up to buy this brand new at a full price. One of the things I was debating on was whether or not the onyx color was worth the $400. I think looking back on this now, if I would have got the silver one, I would have been pretty unhappy because of the way that it matched to my setup. That's just a personal preference, and I know that's getting really nitpicky. But when it comes to overall the use of this, the way that it works, the day-to-day operation of it, and the quality that you get out of it, it's unmatched, and it's such a joy to use. It's absolutely phenomenal. Gives you the best results that you can really get out of espresso. When it comes into pour over, I'm getting more out of pour over than I ever have before. I find myself drinking it more than I ever have before. I typically would always do espresso style drinks, but now I'm really getting into pour over because of how great this is and how great it pairs with the Aiden. My only drawback to this thing is it's absolutely massive. Like, I mean, when you're looking at how big this thing is next to me, it is not a small thing. It takes up an incredible amount of space. To me, it's worth it. This is the one grinder that I have on there. I could actually probably get two grinders almost in the same spot as this. It's incredibly heavy. It does not move. I really cannot express how good of a grinder this is. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. If there's any questions particularly on this grinder that you want to know, let me know in the comments below. I'm going to make another video about this. I want to talk about how easy it is to swap out the burst, but I also want to spend some time reviewing and exploring their espresso style burrs. Right now this is just the core burrs that came with it, and I also have in my house the espresso style burrs. I'm blanking on the name of them right now, but it's apparently going to give you the best pour overs possible and maybe lack a little bit on the espresso. This is the best all around there, and I can honestly say that I've never had coffee the same. I've never had coffee come out this is great, as great as this. The very first time I got a shot dialed in, it blew my mind out of the water of how much more I was getting out of the coffee that I priorly brewed on different machines, on different grinders. It does an absolute incredible job. I actually took this with a $150 grinder, and this actually did $150 espresso machine, and that setup did better than a $4,000 espresso machine and a $700 grinder. Believe it or not, the grinder does make a difference. So if you're really saving up money and you can afford it, it is worth every penny. If this breaks, I will save up again and I will buy it again in a heartbeat. It's so good that I almost want a second one for my office, but I know that's absolutely overkill and absolutely ridiculous. But it just makes me miss, anytime I use a different grinder, it makes me miss the quality that comes out of this grinder. I cannot say enough good things about this. Everything is there, the build quality, the use, even the blind shaker. While it wasn't my favorite type of a thing, I do think it's one of the best solutions out there when it comes to coffee. I do like it better than a traditional dosing cup. The RPM adjustment, the power adjustment, literally I don't really know what to say that is bad about this grinder. But the question is, do you think it's worth it? I mean, $4,500 is a lot of money. It is overkill for a lot of people. I would say if you're into anything that's black coffee or small milk drinks, I would say this is worth it. If you're adding a lot of sweetener, a lot of sugar, or larger lattes, I would say maybe buy a cheaper grinder. But if you really have the budget and you can make this work, spend more, buy this grinder, and buy a cheaper machine. Like I would choose a lot of other machines. I would choose to have a $500 turn legato in this thing over a $3,500 Rocket R58 that I have in a $500-$600 grinder. That's how much I think this thing is worth it, and you get absolutely incredible shots about it. But again, like and subscribe. Special thanks to Clutch Coffee for sending over some coffee and sponsoring this channel. Go support them. Buy it in the link in the description below, and tell me what you think. Should you buy a $4,000+ grinder, or do you think you should go something cheaper? Has this been on your list? What do you want to know about it? What can I answer for you? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.